2, 1. Yeah. So basically, conversation that Harry cut in halfway. Haha, funny joke. Moving on. Welcome
It's a great gag.
to the Barrel Vision podcast with your host. I did it again. I just always do that. Barrel Vision.
No, we haven't done the host thing in a while, where it's like with your host, Barrel Men. What?
Yeah, the Barrel Lords, the rule over the Barrel Peasants, until the Barrel Peasants revolt and they cut off the Barrel Lords' heads.
They are revolting.
And then there's Barrel Communists with like barrel like Stalin that starves all the Barrel Peasants.
Barrel guillotines.
And then the Barrel Empire collapses under the weight of its Barrel Monarchy. Point is, we are here to finish off our season 3 opinions, right? I think that was the gist of it.
There's a bit more things have happened that need to be conversed about. It will mainly be that, I'll admit we're milking the term season 3, and we will do up until season 4.
Yeah. Well, not even that. We'll be stopping about halfway through season 3 to start using season 4 when like the roadmap comes out.
The roadmap.
Yeah. Shut up.
The road back.
The mountain back track.
The road hog.
Oh,
but yeah, even though the last podcast was 3 hours long, there's a fair bit that we didn't actually touch on from season. Not a fair bit. It's just there are
miscellaneous
a few
stuff.
major things still. Not a massive amount, but we didn't touch on really the cosmetics or the pass at all. We didn't touch on weapon balancing at all, and we didn't touch on any of the other miscellaneous things like new cave generation and assignments and all that tosh.
Yeah.
I for some reason I want to start weapon balancing. Also, I don't have
an
infinite amount of time. I should point that out. But
it's the most
more to talk about than I thought.
Yeah, it's the most significant part of this load of bollocks, right? Because in the end, cosmetics will just come down to us talking about which ones we do and don't like, and we haven't even got all of them, so there's not much we can say since we haven't really experimented with most of them. And obviously the cave generation, we barely even seen. Normal cave generation additions, we don't even notice most of the time. That's kind of the point. And the point extractions, I don't think we've done enough to really see all the new ones.
I've seen something. I've seen something that's unfamiliar, but most of the time, it's more so just been like it's not that I've been noticing a cave that I don't recognize. It's more so, but it has felt a little bit less samey. I can actually say that. There might just be a like placebo effect though. But at the same time, it might have worked. Might have done. They did something. Egg hunt we did yesterday was retarded. Ridiculous, I mean, sorry.
I don't think that was any...
Well, it might not have been new, but it was still unwieldy and sort of, very difficult to register what the actual cave was. Because it was such a mess.
Yeah. But, I mean, the small point extractions would be that. But we haven't really experienced most of the new ones that we're aware of. So we don't really go in-depth discussion as to which new cave generations we like the most.
My favourite one is the apple.
I like the potato with the sprout in it. I like that. I feel like
that's been around forever. That feels like that could describe a lot of cave types.
Yeah.
Potato with a sprout in it.
Oh yeah, it starts from in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, but not I'm just thinking Brussels sprouts, so that's the thing.
Why?
Because that's a sprout.
Yeah, but that's a sprout. That's what sprouts out of Brussels.
It's out of Brussels. Brussels brand.
They're people that live in Brussels. Wait, is that a place?
Brussels is a place in France.
Yeah. See? People that live there, the people are called Brussels sprouts because they sprout out of Brussels. Job done. Boom. That's our cave generation talk.
Anyway, What? Weapon balancing? What?
Yeah.
The Sabata. Have you used that upgrade yet?
Yeah, changes nothing.
Well, it changed. Well,
Just
I guess
no,
not.
it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change how you use the gun at all. Doesn't change anything. It's just a nothing upgrade for a nothing gun. Moving on.
Okay, I actually agree. There's just no. I don't want to talk about the Zapata ever.
Yeah, and clearly they don't want to interact with it either, or else it'd actually be
No.
an interesting weapon.
They did.
No,
I do
didn't.
think I do think they think it's fine because everyone else does.
That's because
Just boring.
people boring.
Yeah. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with it, even if there is.
Yeah, and you got the Chad EPC.
Oh yeah, I haven't used it at all though, actually. So this is on you. We don't need to get into the numbers or the technical side of things.
I've used it. I've used it, and obviously heavy hitter, exactly the same. Nothing's changed.
That build, yeah.
Yeah, the fire heavy hitter, and I've been using the fire nightmare, and yeah, it's nice. It's good. Issue is it's the same issue I had with the last build. Is I freeze a horde of enemies. I charge up my EPC shot. The enemies are all dead because you killed them. I get sad. That's the pattern that I encounter a lot, and it does still do that. So I feel like it'll be a lot more rewarding and fun if I'm on my own, literally, or just away from you guys, like anyone playing with.
Have you used it with Goo Bomber Special?
I have not, but I think there is a clear thing there.
Yeah, there is. It's pretty self-explanatory what you're meant to do there.
And then again, is it really any that different from shooting a single shot or a couple shots to ignite a puddle?
I guess it would be a lot quicker.
Ignite the whole thing at once.
You are right, but it does take a while to spread. So if you can ignite the whole line immediately, that's a lot more.
And then you put a lot of effort and a lot of ammo into doing sticky flaps at that. Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's good. What I can't really actually speak anything about is the replacement one. Not replacement, but the third. Yeah, Plasma Slash. I think I have used it, but it's just a nothing upgrade.
Yeah, you don't need to talk about it. That's such filler. It's actually hilarious. It doesn't actually need to
confusing,
be there.
Though.
Sabata only has 2 tier 5 upgrades.
Yeah, they've mixed upgrades or got rid of Sludge Pump. They got rid of a 5th tier and added it to the gun. They didn't replace it.
Exactly.
I don't see why they decided to replace this one. Kind of weird.
But then again, the Flamethrower and the Cryo Cannon only have 2 tier 5s each as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Sabata.
And I don't know what it's for. I guess normal shot AOE, right? Because you don't need AOE, right? Think of Demon Field, Flying Nightmare now. Flying fucking Murder Nightmare, Burning Nightmare. EPC passive burn. You don't need AOE, but obviously, and that's just like a half-assed AOE. But it only benefits from normal shot. But I'm not sure if it does.
The reason the EPC has charge shots is because you're never going to want AoE on a semi-automatic projectile-based pistol. Just never going to be good. The Plasma Splash isn't good. Lazy maybe said it, so it's true. But I have reason to believe that's the case, right? It's just why would that be good? It's not the Drac. They should have given it the bouncy thing, maybe.
Yeah.
At least that would be fun and bring something back.
Yeah. Just not that. That doesn't add anything, and it's just confusing. It's now why didn't all the other guns get a replacement 5th tier? It's what couldn't they not think of anything lazy enough to replace it with? And this is the only one they. It's the only correlation because unless if they added this new replacement 5th tier upgrade turns out to be exactly what the EPC needed, and they use the foresight to know that, right? Then it'll be fair enough, right? They innovated. They're haha, this is the thing the gun needs the most right now. And yeah, fair enough. But no, they've added this shitty fucking nothing. And it's kind of weird. Why would they bother? But they never have before. But yeah, point is, Every gun should have 3 5-tier upgrades. I think that is a statement that needs to be said.
I 100% agree.
Because they're the biggest changes of the mods, and the fact that some weapons have less than others implies that those weapons are just more boring. And I think I'm probably right, generally speaking.
You see, that would have been like, there was a time when you could have, drawn things up and like showed like the trends and sort of maybe put together, sort of categorize things. Like engineers primaries, they only had like 2 tier 5 upgrades each, so they're more boring. But the secondaries, well, that was always the case that the secondaries are probably meant to be more interesting in engineers' case. But then the smart rifle got 3 tier 5s.
Yeah, but you can't really call the smart rifle boring, though, can you?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, but like mechanically,
it's
they
mechanically
made it
interesting. It's not exciting,
yeah,
though. It's not,
exactly. And plus, realistically, the actual upgrades on the smart gun all around is pretty fucking terrible. Like it's like I don't know. It really feels shit. Like it's just like okay, well, I'm obviously gonna pick the don't lock on more than you need to upgrade, and then it's just
there are some things. There are some things that like there are some things that I do like about it, but the smart rifle, I honestly I think it's easily the worst of Gen 3. I honestly believe that. Yeah, I think so. Think
definitely
about all
primaries.
The Gen 3 weapons. What? So, what you think? One of the secondaries is worse?
No, I'm just working my way through, and I immediately went through the primaries. Yeah, because I don't like the Hurricane, but I will acknowledge it feels better to use than the smart rifle. Obviously, Drac and Sludge Pump were amazing. But then secondaries, crossbow, coil gun, fine. Wave cooker, cool as hell. And what's the other one? Shard Diffractor. Yeah, no, it definitely was.
And yeah, it like one Sniss's poll for like the best engineered primary or for the best new primary. I'm not sure. Maybe both. Maybe just one of those.
Either way,
that should not be winning any polls.
Yeah, don't want them getting the wrong message that the smart rifle was an okay addition to the game.
As opposed to the rock. No, I'm not going to bring up the rocket rifle. Oh no, I've done it. But yeah, so what was that was it for Driller. And it's just scout. It's just scout. Yeah. It's just a bunch of scout stuff. I mean, we could sort of work in like reverse from like
let's go reverse.
To the most that's gas recycling for the Zhukovs.
I've used that. I don't know if you have. Have you tested it out? Yeah, and it feels
better. Than it did.
Yeah. I mean, it at least it actually reinforces and plays into what it should do more now in its just tearing through.
I'm being honest though. It should probably also have just built-in this.
Maybe.
It doesn't, but
maybe that would be a bit strong. It
doesn't feel good as a dedicated horde clearer still, but I don't see what else it's meant to be. That's the problem. Because it's clearly not meant to be anything else if you can't deal weak point damage. So what's going on there? It's just a bit weird. I don't hate it though. But at the same time, it's still not necessarily feeling like the third leg to stand on that the Zhukovs should have had. Honestly, I think I'd rather use like the clean one, just for if I want to use default Zhukovs and make it feel good. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that gas recycling does change it enough, where it's like a different gun that you would use differently. Because if you're using mineral magazines, I think it is, which is the clean, that's really for precise sort of single target damage, kind of. It's definitely not for crowd clearing.
It's some of them are interesting like that, where they remove a feature that's like inherently part of a gun, like the mini shells for the Warthog that remove stun, stuff like that. Like the things that like remove part of the guns and just kind of spec into other things are always like they're not that inherently interesting, but they kind of tell you how you shouldn't be using them.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't even say hit or miss. I'd more so say miss or neutral. Except maybe Lead Storm, but actually Lead Storm's weird. Actually,
I can't stand Lead Storm. I'm gonna get out there.
This is I like this actually. This is because I'm not surprised that you hate it.
We put it in S on the tier list, but I don't stand by that. Yeah, we did. We were like the same as Big Bertha, but no, fuck that noise.
I think that's obligation though. I don't. Think actually felt that way because I don't.
Yeah, no, like it is. Nah, fuck them. Fuck Lead Storm.
That overclock, not the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you hate it. I'm surprised that I don't like it though. I can't sympathise the position that this is actually just better than not using it.
Well, it's just obviously the damage. Well, obviously the damage doesn't feel like that big of a difference.
I'd much rather use it than not use an overclock. I don't know.
I would rather not use an overclock.
No, I would rather use it because I can work around it. And, you get a lot of damage for it. But I'd much rather use exhaust vectoring any day of the week.
Yeah. I think we went on a bit of tangent.
Yeah, obviously.
But,
obviously. Yeah. Let's just move on from the Zukov. M1000.
Yeah.
Have you used either of them? Have you used...
I've not pulled out the M1. The issue is that basically through the entire season so far, my scout has needed a promotion. Like I used the GK a little bit at the beginning, needed a promotion, and only just promoted it. So I really haven't.
Okay, well, Super Cool Chamber. I hate it still.
Yeah.
I hate it because it just doesn't work for me for how I played the game. It's which
you like all-round builds, don't you? You like to be able to do literally everything, and I highly doubt that fella's doing that.
Well, it's just like the Zukovs aren't crowd clearing enough for me for that to be okay, right? Because then you would take take Cryo Miners then. Okay, yeah, but sure. But the thing I need to use to finish them off as it's ammo tanked, and you do like far less or normal shots than you would do if you do you do way more in weak point shots, but enemies are frozen, so that's not very useful. But then if any of the other options, well, the boomstick's just not good for wall clearing. I've tried it multiple times recently, still didn't feel great. And then the bolt shark, well, if I'm using Super Cool Chamber and the bolt shark, I have no ammo just in general. I just have such a pathetic, I have no general use sort of ammo pool to play with, and I just hate that. I don't know, Super Cool Chamber still doesn't work for me. Maybe that might just be the M1000 not being for me either, though. But I do think they made some of the changes that they definitely should have made to that overclock specifically. But
do you think
it was never going to be an overclock that I liked? Either way.
Nothing they ever could have done to it would have made you want to use it.
Yeah, basically. Electrifying focus shots, though, I haven't used it. Do you know why? Because it's objectively bad, and it always will be. Because it's so hilariously worse than electrifying reload. It's actually just so fucking funny. Because it's the same amount of damage on the electrocution effect, right? Except you only get it on a focus shot.
Yeah.
As opposed to every bullet that you can take with the GK2. You can get 450 bullets with electrifying reload. As opposed to half your total ammo with the M1000. It doesn't matter that the M1000 does more damage anyway, because electrocution isn't good against big enemies, and the electrocution effect can one-shot a grunt on its own anyway.
Electrifying shots, focus shots should literally just be a tier 5 upgrade or something.
It should either be tier 5 or it should be reworked to be an electric arc that uses the boomerang's electric effect, so it can literally electrocute anything in a small radius. Then it would be maybe usable. It's just like, how can you can't put those two things side by side and be like, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, we made this work. You didn't. But you did make electrifying reload better. For some reason. Because, yeah, the GK2 got... Are we calling it a rework? Did we agree on that or not? I don't know how I feel, to be honest.
It's not a rework.
It's
still used.
It's an overhaul.
Similar overhaul, I think, is what we came to. Yeah.
Yeah. It does feel different in a lot of ways, though. It's generally much quicker. But I think fire rate is the biggest thing that it feels like is different, because you can just make it be a lot faster, especially with how much fire rate you can have on it with AO stability engine is something that I take note of and appreciate.
I haven't used it much, but I've seen people using it, and it does just feel like people just kill quicker with it. Like, just all around, the enemies just die at a good pace with a scout primary, which is not normally how that works.
Okay.
Which is always good.
Okay.
I'm not even sure what overclock they have on. It just seems,
Overclock firing mechanism. God, you can make it really fucking fast, can't you? Did you do? That's what you did, right? That's one of the features
Yeah.
of it. You just
Pistol
did you
ammo.
bump the fire rate up to like you pushed it to the absolute limit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my speed build. Therefore, I have to. I'm obliged.
Well, hold on, that doesn't make a lot of sense because if you're doing a speed build, then the 5th tier, you either pick Battle Frenzy or increase rate of fire.
Then I probably haven't done that.
Yeah.
Because I would have picked Battle Frenzy.
Yeah. Either way, it's definitely stronger. That's actually really it, though. It's not. It doesn't. It's not as crazy as maybe it. Maybe this is how it just should have been, but I actually think there's a chance that over time. No, you know what?
It's like an overclock or the whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah, it's probably in a fine place. Probably equal to the Drac. Maybe. Maybe. Just about. They're different weapons. They're not that different conceptually, but they are different.
They're just both assault rifles, but you know, I don't know. They do obviously feel
very
quite
different overclock selections, though.
Yeah,
very different.
With yeah, and I haven't used Bullets of Mercy. I've used AI stability, and honestly, it feels the exact same. I've not noticed any differences.
But you probably didn't. Because the fire rate you can have on the AI stability engine is much more than you could. So the DPS can be a lot higher. That's
fire rate. Well, I never normally held down the trigger with AI stability.
The things you can now because it's worth doing. But before tap firing made more sense. But you have fire rate where it automatic. Automatic. Makes sense. But then they removed the weapon's base weak point multiplier, which was just a bit odd. A little bit odd.
Yeah. Well, I guess they would do, you know, they made it more all round than just weak point, which just makes it slightly more different to the M1000 in that regard. Because M1000 Hipster is basically just semi-automatic fucking GK. Which is why no one used the GK back then. But now, yeah, the GK will be better. Kind of. Point is, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't play Scout enough.
I really do think the M1000 is about to just get left behind. Unfortunately, I think
now it's going to get left behind.
I just think it might make people realise that it probably is the worst of the three. If you exclude Hipster.
Maybe, yeah, but it wasn't. But now it might be because they brought the other one up, which means they were now going to have to bring up the M1000, and then you know. Power creep, but
you're a power creep.
Power creep.
You're a power cooper.
No. Yeah.
Like what?
That was a Cooper in Court by Bow Vision.
That's the new theme tune.
I don't remember what I was going to say. I barely remember my name right now. All my head is filled with is that song.
What's your name?
I mean, all right, let's get this out of the way. This was the most significant thing we had to talk about, and we're done already. So, doesn't bode well.
Incorrect.
Okay. Most significant season 3 thing we had to talk about.
Incorrect.
Okay. This mystery category that you're keeping from me is a real bait. Point is I think that, you know, I'm glad they are balancing the guns still, right? Even whether or not they've nailed it, is in question. I think obviously the GK is getting a lot more use now, which was the goal. But it's definitely, I'm glad that they're going back and they're sorting out the weapons. Some misplays, obviously, with the Sabata, but generally, I mean, the thing is, if we all just kind of point out a gun like every season that's like, hey, Deep Rock, sort this shit out, then, you know, we'll get steady amounts of this, right?
So what do you actually think is on the chopping block, though? Because I know that most people aren't going to agree with Sabata really. At the same time, when I look at things objectively, I can't see what one everyone would agree with, except
first of
the
all,
Hurricane,
it's gonna
maybe.
it's just gonna take lazy maybe to make a video saying how statistically something is weaker than the others, and there are some things that I can never see that being the case for. Like the EPC it's not the weakest of the three secondaries of drillers rather. So I mean, and he likes the wave cooker, right? He's gone into I think the wave cooker, and obviously that's strong. So
the wave cooker can't be reworked. Unfortunately.
Yeah, no, the wave cooker just is what it is, and I think what it is, I'll admit, the wave cooker is kind of boring, of a play style now. Now that it's settled down,
multiple like forced play styles, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of thing. It's a few different things, but you have to use those. Like you have to build for those functions. Like there's only really one build for those things, which I kind of disagree with, because the temp shot build, I think you can use a good, different overclocks with. I actually use gamma contamination.
That's what I'm currently doing on my main thing, because I'm gaslighting myself to think gamma contamination is the one I use the most. So I just have that constantly on the fucking wave cooker, and then I just change it between corrosion and the neurotoxin thing, and and that's depending on what I'm running. Point is I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. I'm thinking Sabata. I think Drillers primaries are by far like the most, I think, equal in technically. Like obviously we don't like the flamethrower generally. We think these overclocks are lacking, but I would argue it's doesn't really matter, because I think the flamethrower really doesn't rely on its overclocks to be good. Because the overclocks that I like the most, and I'm not sure if same with you, is ones that really don't touch it, with the range and like the clip size. Those are the slightly more ammo, the clean, slightly more ammo ones. Those are my favorite flamethrower overclocks, and they barely touch the main gun. They just slight boost because I need an overclock to use.
Field
right?
Diffuser is really the only one that's going to make you change anything about your playstyle.
Yeah. That's the long range one, right? Yeah. Well, no, obviously, sticky flames.
That's not really change your playstyle. It's just to help you hit certain things.
Yeah, sticky flames and fairy smelter are going to really change your playstyle, but I think that's a change for the worse.
It almost sounded like you said fairy smelter.
Yeah.
I guess we've got to discuss that. We've got to discuss the mysterious sprite.
Yeah, no, we don't. No more mysterious sprites. I think, so I think that the flamethrower is fine. It's strong, but I don't think its most popular overclocks are to be like credited for it. I think it's just default very strong. I think which could be also kind of said for the cryo, but you just kind of have to bring it up with the overclocks and mods. But this is including mods, I guess. But then I think the sludge pump really shines with its overclocks. Overclocks are kind of the main thing for sludge pump.
Sludge pump is my baby.
Yeah, it's growing on me every time I use it. Almost literally. It's
my pants.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, so I think they should be fine. I can't see any more reworks for those primaries.
Maybe. Do you think season 3 has brought to light, or do you think it will bring to light what needs to be balanced next?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, there's going to be once the grenades settle down, there's going to be something there immediately, right? Like either one of the new grenades. I'm thinking, I don't know, probably. Well, I'm assuming the shredder, or not shredders. It's annoying because I default to calling the Ripper the shredder for some reason, because it looks like a shredder, but then there are actual shredders, so I can't really say that and get away with it. No. But I could see the Ripper falling behind, only because of obviously the axes and how kind of inconvenient the Rippers are. So unlike all the other grenades, where I'd argue their best features are their convenience. The shredder's immensely convenient. Boomerang, immensely convenient. You don't even have to aim those two things; they do it themselves. And then the gunner's grenades are all the same. They're literally all the same. Just pick what you want to do with them.
Pick
Do you want your
nose,
explode? Do you want your
music.
explodes to scare, stun, set like, things on fire, or just shoot them? Its the point is
Do you want your explode to shoot them?
yeah. I
I
stretched the
would love
term
my
explode
explode to
but a
shoot
bit,
them.
but yeah, you get the point. But yeah,
I
I
do
don't
actually.
know. So I think it will they will have to confront something where their new grenade that they, let's be honest, is technically OP as hell, right? The Ripper is OP. It does so much damage. It's stupid. If that isn't used like a lot and it falls down to like neurotoxin HEs, which I forgot about the HEs. Have we talked about that? I don't think we have. Oh no, wait, we did on the grenades. We talked about the grenades. Okay, yeah. If that doesn't get used, they're gonna have to address the issue, right? Because they've not actually acknowledged that the axes are OP. They've not acknowledged that. When asked about their favorite grenades, all of them said axes, but they haven't acknowledged that how bad of a thing that is. And that might be the issue. They might all just like axes so much that they don't want to nerf them.
It's possible. Yeah, but I'm still of the opinion the type of grenade that the Ripper is the only thing that ever stood a chance. I'm of the opinion that it was never going to be a simple solution. Doesn't mean they got it, but I don't think it was just going to be something like the axes that was going to knock the axes off its pedestal. It would have. I'm sort of the opinion that it's not actually possible without nerfing the axes, and I know they're not going to do that. Which is why it was best to just create a grenade that is so like specific. They'd be used by that there would be a group of people who would just latch onto it and swear by it, like me.
Yeah. And there's there's two uses to it as well. Casual use of throwing it into a Giga Horde and it will just tear them to pieces, right? Just like tear straight through them. And then there's like the 1,000 IQ plays of like making the little like rings in the floor,
Well, that's
or like
1,000
bunkering,
IQ, but
stuff like that.
Just digging tunnel into a wall is not 1,000 IQ.
I guess that's like middle, like 500 IQ bunkering with it.
Yeah,
because it's kind of dangerous. But yeah, I don't know. I think of the grenades, I think we might be looking at that, unless because I think people are generally saying the boomerang is pretty weak, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The public opinion is that boomerangs are underwhelming, which I don't disagree with, but I don't inherently think that's a problem.
So, do you think they should be able to one-shot grunts?
I think they shouldn't on impact, but they should once the electricity is ended.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that will do. Because there's also that's slightly inconvenient, but I think it kind of deserves that. Because
but it's
Scout doesn't often have access to that kind of thing.
That it doesn't.
Yeah, but then they're always left. Well, the thing is, it's that you killing them once they're in that state isn't hard, but it's just annoying, right? Yeah. Like, especially if you do more damage against electrical enemies, which isn't hard to get as a scout.
Yeah.
Like, it would take like a single bullet of the fucking Zukhovs to put them down after, while they're in their state.
There's no such thing as a single Zukhov bullet, Tyler.
I know, but it's that easy. But it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. So I think there probably might be a bit of grenade shuffling. They might do, like maybe the HE isn't as used as because they wanted to make the HE more used, right? They buffed it a bunch. So if it still turns out that's not the case at all, they might buff it more. I don't recommend it, but you should.
Well, I don't need you to recommend it. I'll still try it.
Yeah, but I don't recommend it. But you should try it. But I don't recommend it.
That's really weird because that's you recommending it.
No,
you can be specific. You can be like, I recommend that you try it. But would you do that?
I recommend that you play it on like a hazard 2 maybe.
What?
So then it will feel good.
That's not how.
I mean, obviously, it even in Haz 5, it fucking kills anything in its area, which its area is its area is not technically bigger, but you know what I mean. We read the patch notes.
Yeah, well,
it does its full damage in a bigger area now, so it does absolutely destroy anything that it comes in contact with when it detonates. It's just very annoying to use, and like the obviously the fuse, cooking the fuse has made it a lot more possible to kill things with it now than it before, but it's still annoying. It's still the HE grenade, and I think it will still be shit on by the general like consensus community.
I mean, there's a chance that it would actually be better for the build that I came up with, the build that I made for the Ripper. Basically, a build where you just don't need, like, basically makes axes completely redundant because I use volatile impact mixture and blistering necrosis. Obviously, because it's a sludge pump, you still have AoE, but it's also like the most burst damage possible, basically, without using something stupid like Ice Spear. So there's a chance that HE might actually be the best grenade for that build.
Yeah,
which is kind of disturbing.
Maybe.
I just need to try it. I feel sort of, I feel slightly premature for all of this, considering I still haven't used like something that's been changed. Underprepared.
See, it's been out a week now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for us it has been out for a week. Oh god, it's only been a week.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been like 4 years.
It feels like it's been out for like 2 days.
What?
I feel like it's not been out like any time at all.
I feel like I'm ready for like season 7.
Yeah. Me, overall, the gun balancing was either insignificant, like it didn't make a bad thing good, or it did, made a bad thing good.
I think it was all...
Either way, no harm was done.
I agree with that. I think it was all either insignificant or significant.
Because there really wasn't actually... There wasn't a nerf anywhere, was there? Really? Right? Not like an overall gun.
No.
Like the shard diffractor didn't get his fucking damage tanked or anything like that. Right? Yeah, exactly. But I just tried... I first thought was OP gun, and the shard diffractor came to my mind.
I don't think it's OP.
I think it is.
I think that's horse shit.
Well, if any of the guns in the game is OP, it's an engineer's secondary. And of the engineer's secondaries, which one do you think is the best right now, Harry?
Bell.
All right. Point proven. So I think, yeah, if my first thought of OP gun is that.
My first thought of weapon that needs help is PGL. And see, this is why I know we're never going to get... the right things will never be addressed because someone's wrong. And I don't think it's me.
I think it's you because I don't get the distaste towards the grenade launcher.
I still think it's severely underpowered in like pretty much every way. I might be insane, but
yeah, I think you are. I don't think there is any merit to that accusation. It's just as powerful, if not more so, than the other options.
Okay.
It is literally. It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, normally I like running you up, but it's just I do. I don't see how bad it is. Oh, you think it is?
Of the grenade launcher. Fuck it. Right. I want to talk about the assignment.
Right.
Or the 2 assignments. And there's more to it than just the 2 assignments, obviously, because there were other things they did with the assignment. It's weird what they've done. So they tried to make a story.
I wouldn't put it like that. They gave the assignments a narrative. That's what I would go with.
Yeah. It was kind of, there's like an inkling of them maybe trying to do something like that in season 2, where it's like you do, well, they tried to do it with the actual like mission like composition. You did like 2 rival presences, then a savage op for some reason, then 2 more rival presences, then an industrial sabotage. So it's like, oh, there's like a structure here that they were going for. In this case, it's just all Rockbox missions on both assignments. But yeah, there's like, what would you call it? Because it's not cutscene, obviously. It's like It's just dialogue.
Yeah, when you complete a mission in that assignment, uh, mission control will basically kind of just talk about it. He'll be like, "Yeah, well, I only paid attention. I only realized he was doing it like later on because I was skipping it. It was like halfway through
because there was one where you mentioned another team going missing or something?
I realized that. Hold on, this isn't normal speech, and then but then I started listening to it and it was like great jobs down there, guys, but while you were down there we lost 3 more teams to the Rockpox. Like, this is proving to be like, and it's like, it's kind of cool that it's, I don't know, because the interesting thing is that we complained about, and I stand by this, but the Rockpox doesn't feel like that big of a deal because it ain't.
Yeah,
but
if this was their attempt to make it feel like a bigger deal, it didn't work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a good. It made, yeah. It's a bit of a whiplash. There's a term for it that I can't think of at the moment, but like the gameplay is telling me it's not that big of a deal, but the actual like story, the narrative, what people are saying is trying to convince me that it is, right, that like, oh, everyone's dying and losing to this rock box, but then you go into the cave and you spray a bit of foam on a couple enemies and they're like, and the gameplay feels like it's not that hard, it's not that dangerous, there's not that much of it and you could easily avoid it. But then the game's actually like, yeah, we're losing teams upon teams of this. Like, the most experienced veterans can't stand up against this threat, it's a bit of a whiplash. Like,
it's shit in the fan.
Yeah, like, I don't know, but I in saying that, I don't want them to stop doing the talking after an assignment. I want them to just make the gameplay feel as important as that bit, because honestly the narrative during the assignment is exactly what we want, right? Because that would be opportunities to get lore mid-season, right? If this part 2 was actually like in the season, which it really should have been, let's be realistic, that would have been pretty cool, right? That you get like updates and he'd like talk to you about the situation during the assignment.
We're doing this now. Okay, so today they put out an update for the game. Added
actually did see that. What?
Kind of. So they brought back Small Meteor.
Yeah,
but like properly, so it's just something that can happen. Just small meteors can just land anywhere on any mission, and you can crack them open with your pickaxe and get a plague heart.
Oh, see now, Harry, I want to state it right here, right now. That right there is why they're the best developer team. Okay,
it's one of the best things that they do.
That right there. Yeah, they turn a meme or like a thing that fans want, and they make it a legitimate mechanic in their game, and they integrate it perfectly. And that's just what they do. Same thing with Doretta's head and like bringing it back. That whole thing. They recently, I mean, obviously they recently, but like with the whole mushroom and with Rich thing, by pinging them constantly, you now get a thing. Just I guess kicking barrels into the launch bay, but I'm not sure. That probably is really far back now. Like, I imagine people were kicking that into the launch bay before there were even voice lines for it, and they added it. But yeah, they always turn people's fan jokes and rituals and stuff like that into stuff in the game. The only thing I can think that they didn't want to do or didn't do was the dipping balls in Morkite, and I don't blame them. They acknowledged it on like their Twitter and that, but they didn't add it in the game.
How would you make that a proper feature?
I don't know, like when you ping a gunk seed, it's like, oh, are there any Morkite wells around here?
A line. I think they could probably they would add a line if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I feel like they weren't actually that big of a fan of that meme. Probably they didn't seem very responsive to it. But point is that stuff like this, and there's also, it's worth mentioning that like that took them a week, right? This second event took them a week, because let's be real,
it is kind of that. It is. It's just not like very. It's just not a lot to it.
I know, but I would argue that it has. It's. I don't know. It's fucking sick, and I'm ecstatic. And this is a live reaction for me, I guess, because I didn't know about this. But yeah, that is actually legitimately why they're the best fucking company for games out there right now.
Someone's just finished watching like the last podcast, and they're really confused right now. What? Why they? They hated Ghost Ship.
Yeah, no, yeah,
No.
it's because they haven't been feeling like this for a while, or like the new content feels a bit devoid of this kind of I don't know. Closeness with the community, where they're just so in touch and add the exact content people would want them to add. And they do it in their own way, so it doesn't feel like they're bending a knee or anything. Like Small Meteor, that could have just been a small meteor, right? They could have just added whatever form it was in before, but they've decided to actually make it an event that gives you a play card. Like that's so fucking sick. They would just do that, and it's so cool. Do you know if they can like? I'm probably you know any more than what the text probably says, but if it can like crush you like a drop pod, or not a drop pod, but like a resupply pod, because I imagine it falls down something like that, probably, right? Not that you would know. I don't know why I'm asking. You wouldn't know.
It looks like you can get a lot of them. There's a screenshot. There's like 4 on screen that just landed in different places next to each other. Seems pretty stupid. Right. I think the point. Oh, I understand. Hold on. Oh, I understand now. I understand. I feel really dumb. Because I made a news video on this earlier. I feel really stupid. So because it's like it sort of looks weird because it's like it's isolated. But if this was in the patch notes, it would just be it would just come under like new seasonal events. It's just meteor shower. It's a meteor shower.
So
where it's a bunch of small ones come hurtling down, and you crack them open. So there'll always be more than one. I thought it was just like you can just get one that comes down, but it's like that's the event, and I assume that can happen instead of the big one. Okay.
Right.
But okay,
cool.
So what I want to get to is why I brought this up when we were talking about the assignments, because when I found out they were splitting the assignment in 2, now I understand the reason why they did that on a base level. It's like, yeah, splitting it a longer assignment in 2 makes a lot of sense.
Make sure you're not trapped there for as long, but they
that
still want to add
was
more
like,
assignment.
Is this like a way? Are they going to have it? Are they going to put the second part in later down the line? No, but they have this feature brought in like after soon after season 3 launch, but still after.
Yeah,
I think they couldn't have planned this, but in my opinion, it would have been really great if they were able to have saved that part 2 and this feature for like a month or 2.
Yeah, that would have. I don't know. Obviously,
that's the exact quantity of the mid-season updates that I was thinking. It's not a lot. It's not.
It would have matched with a bit of lore with an event, and maybe if that was the case, maybe a bit more than a pickaxe for the meteor swarm, maybe, or like I don't know, something like that. Like maybe it's like you get like a rock cracker, not rock cracker. The things you use for like tritium bombs. You summon that down, and you have to bomb the little ones, like around, something like that. So a bit more, but if that was just because if that was halfway season, they would have had a bit more time. But for a week, this is more than enough, and this is sick. This is absolutely
cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
I just
it's
have
fucking
this really
awesome.
good feeling right now. I'm actually really happy because it was like, I'll be honest, it wasn't bad, but things are actually slightly more gloomy than desired on release. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it hasn't revitalized as much happiness or passion to play the game as I'd hoped until just now. This feature
a couple of just
actually
recent things that have just given me good vibes in general.
Yeah,
like the Christmas event coming up, basically knowing that it will be slightly more like elaborate, more Oktoberfest style. There'll be some extra edition. The way that they worded their sort of statement on like upcoming sort of updates, to like development updates, where it's like so it seemed to indicate to me that next time we get like proper news, it'll be to do with like the far future potentially. That's at least what the wording might have indicated. And then we get something like this, which is just straight up just new content added post-launch of a season.
Yeah, and it's obviously that's not like something they planned to do, obviously, right? This was something that like small meteor occurred.
Development has always been fairly spontaneous.
Yeah, I know, but that's the opposite of. But it hasn't exactly. That's the thing. They lost their spontaneity, which I think I fucking nailed just now, that word, and I'm pretty impressed with myself.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
Take the W.
Yeah, I ruined it by talking about it, but I thought I had to put it out. But yeah, it was something they always kind of had, that like if they were like, we want to add this, they'd just do it, and it would be there with like a month or two, or like, so like they okay, we need this next, and then they do it, and then we need this next, then they do it. And obviously that's not something they can really be doing nowadays, because obviously seasons are a thing, and it's like the game's out now. They don't need to just quickly decide, this is the content we want next in the game, boom boom boom. But like they have lost an aura of I don't know, whimsy in their updates. Like
Whimsy.
They feel pretty formulaic, especially.
Well, yeah, but that is what they were going for. That's the thing.
Yeah,
but
I know, but that's it's still a case that, you know, I think, especially you and me, we obviously prefer. Well, I prefer. I'm a mix of both. I understand formula. I like formula.
Formulas tend to work.
I broke it down, like the formulas of seasons, right? It allows us to help predict, and it helps them focus in on stuff, right? So then they don't have to come up with all these things, right? Like, they can go into it and know, okay, what's the framework we're gonna make, and then they'll make a framework. Okay, what's the hair color we're gonna make, and then they'll make a hair color. Like, it does make things easier if you know what you're gonna do beforehand, so then you can just focus on the actual details of that thing rather than whether or not you're gonna do it, right?
But the fact that we now know that the sort of the spontaneity isn't entirely lost, this just gives so much life. But I feel like it might actually do them a lot of good if they could, you know, come up with something like this and maybe actually save it. I might be wrong. I might be, you know, this is on the spot. This is like, this is just a curveball that came out of nowhere, and it's very good.
I think,
it could have been benefited from being added later down the line, though, in season 3.
With what it is, I do disagree with you on that, though. I like the sentiment.
What this specific content is.
Yeah, it would have felt like down the line, like they'd spent that long trying to come up and join in with the meme. But it was literally with the way that it's come out, it's like instantly. Like they were like, okay, yeah, sure, small meteor, we like it too. We're adding it to the game. We're making it into a new event. Boom. And like that's so fucking sick. But like, yeah, if it was like halfway through the season, people would be like, the meme's dead. It took you this long, that kind of thing. That might have been what we would have said.
But my point was that like the part 2 of the assignment and a new event would be like pretty much just in the realm of what I would want from a mid-season update. And
I think a mid-season update, either a event that's like, you know, like an event or a low effort warning, something like that would. Obviously not if the main content is a warning, but like something like that would be alright for like a halfway event.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they wanted, I think the warning would have just been like a warning where you can just get rockpox ambushes or swarms on a normal mission.
In normal missions.
Maybe they should just still do that anyway. But that would be like an awesome, you know, that would be an awesome mid-season update, wouldn't it? If we want to just give an example of what one could have been. We know it's not going to happen in season 3 now, but you get that part 2. You get a warning that adds rockpox swarms.
Part 2 assignment, which boosts you through the pass a bit, gives you an update on what's the current situation. Are they winning? Are they losing against the rockpox? And obviously, it seems like they were going to go for losing. And then, like, in game, it feels more drastic because the rockpox is spreading out because there's more warnings. There's enemies in normal caves now, so that feels more reinforced that they're an issue. And the meteor swarm event, so that you'll have even more meteor events, so it'll feel even more drastic. And it would just be cool. And like as mentioned, what has happened is fine. I'm glad they've added it now, but in the future, maybe they should look into that kind of stuff more. You know what I mean? I think we both agree on that.
Yeah, because they've got the bare, like, you know, probably more than the bare essentials of what it would be. Update would be. It's just already been implemented.
And especially, I think this is worth mentioning.
Spontaneously.
If they do the 4 months update, then that's fine. No, don't bother. You don't need halfway throughs. You can make entirely new seasons that are basically part 2s.
You would drop this like with the roadmap update, basically.
Yeah, but like if they intend to keep up the 6 months schedule, then they will need a part 2 halfway through the season for just a little bit more content to revitalize the season a little bit. And it's not going to be for the publications or anything like that. It will be just for the players that want to play the game, but there's nothing to do. That's what these mid-season updates would be for. And it's kind of what the events are for, like the seasonal ones. Seasonal events. The fucking Halloween holiday.
Yeah. So,
stuff.
What annoys me about that is that they call them seasonal events.
Yeah.
So I need to go to the the season 3 patch notes and see how they classify like the meteor strike. It just says event. Okay, but it's calling it like the seasonal event makes sense.
Yeah,
but
for
the holiday, for like Christmas stuff, I like calling them the holiday events, right?
Yeah, holiday works.
Actually, yes, it does. It does apply to all of them. Actually, it does.
Yeah,
yeah. Even Oktoberfest. So fine.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped that they did that.
Well, yeah, it's like they don't have. I'm not expecting them to do things that I say word for word, but I should point out that suggestion for the mid-season update was for if we're going to be having 6-month seasons.
And I think it's also interesting to note that they did actually add another event. Right?
Well, okay, it seems that way. The post doesn't really make it clear, if I'm being honest.
Harry,
I know. I think
they give you play cards.
Yeah, it is.
They give you play cards. It's the same as if someone give you data cells, right? You would call that an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give you play cards, therefore they're an event, and I think that is interesting.
Hold on, sorry, I'm a stupid man. I was about to say, it does say it's a new event. I was actually looking at the season 3 patch notes. It doesn't say event meteor shower. It just says meteor shower. But yeah, I think.
Point is, it will feel like it, even if it ain't technically. But
the thing is, if it isn't technically, that means you can still get the big meteor, and then you can just get a stupid number of play cards.
Yeah, which is fine. That's funny. Plus, you can already because you can get 2 big meteors. But if you get 2 big meteors and a mini swarm, that would be pretty funny.
You get,
or maybe
like, a big one with like a few around them,
and a mini one.
Bunch of mini ones like around the big one.
And you're in like a fucking point extraction, so there's only one room, so it's all in one room. There's 3 giant meteors.
Can they change it so that you can only get the little ones on point extraction? How the big one? Too much.
Yeah, but I'm fucking. I love that. Yeah.
Right, I really need to piss, but once I get back, I'm going to make a really cool transition to the next topic.
I'm sure you will. Are we back?
Well, we're back. So as I was saying, because we were just talking about play cards and thus script acquisition, I was going to move on to the performance parts and cosmetics, but we'll start with that part: script acquisition and what they've done there. Because it's different. It's different and it's better. I think. You know how they got them. What they call it? The season event bonus, where you have to get 6 play cards to get script.
I wouldn't go as far as to say better. I do agree with you, but I think you can at least agree that they are already innovating in that area, right? Like, they actually have every time, right? They had like 10 things, and then they just under doubled it season 2, and now with that amount they're like changing around how much you get per game, so you don't inherently get a script per event, which is better than
but it also works specifically for this event as well, because of being able to get multiple meteors in one mission, which is also one of the best things about this season.
Yeah,
so good job on that. And I don't know, the rate feels pretty good. Like, maybe it feels slower, right? But
slower as hell.
At the same time, I felt like I was getting I felt like I got that part of things done too quickly. Like, it's not like you got more scripts than you would. You just got a lot very quickly, and I didn't think that's better.
Because obviously the first season had like 10 script ones, and they got done like immediately, and then you wouldn't get any more, and it was a waste of time it being there. But then season 2, obviously it took you longer because there was more of them, but not because it took you longer. You still just got a lot quickly, but then you'd run out, but you'd have a lot more scripts early on. But now, yeah, but by this point in the season, I would already had like I would almost be done with the script acquisition bit there. But now I've got like 4 scripts from it. like,
I mean,
especially,
I've got 6 to go. To be fair.
yeah, but like, yeah, but it's interesting in that it's like I thought this was weird previously, but it really kind of makes sense that you go even slower through that if you are playing the new warning, right? If you were engaging in the new content, you're getting scripts even slower, which I think is
there's something
a bit interesting.
A bit weird about that.
Well, because I don't blame them, because it sounds bad, but let's be realistic. You getting those scripts slower is better for you, right?
But there is also one of the daily challenges is play 2 lithophage outbreaks to get script.
Exactly, yeah. So you'll still be getting scripts for doing the warning, but it's just I don't know. They're just trying to slow down how quickly you get the script stuff, which I don't blame them for, because people could get it within the month, and there was like up to 6. So slowing down your progression of getting stuff in the past is a reasonable thing to do, indeed, Brock. But
yeah, not when it's like 3 or like even maybe 4 tiers of just loot. Actually, hold on, they haven't done. Oh, hold on. Okay, so
there isn't actually many in the script thing, is there? There really doesn't seem like there's that many filler slots in the script pass.
In the performance cosmetic tree, well, maybe not, but there is an instance here where if you count script as just a miscellaneous material, you've got script cropper, more script, phase unite script, umanite script. So that's 7 tiers without actual hard cosmetics.
Yeah, but that's a very dishonest take.
It's not a take. It's just something. Observing.
Yeah, but it would be hard to use all 3 of those scripts and then not inherently get
fair. That is very, very fair.
Yeah. So like, obviously you are right, but you are objectively being not dishonest, but
there's no instance, right, where there's just like a mineral and then some credits in a row. There's always at least a script breaking up those parts of the pass. Obviously,
there's a big
focus place on the cosmetic tree. I don't mind.
Yeah, which I mean, it's kind of interesting, because really, if they got rid of all the scripts, they could put all the cosmetics in the pass.
But it's because of the framework, though, isn't it? Like obviously you can't get them all at like the same rate. You can't just pick which one you get. You still have to go through the tree, but getting those linearly doesn't make as much sense as the way. You get them.
Well, it would make. The thing is, games have done that though. For Honor has a tree, a normal battle pass, and it has like tons of different characters, and you'll unlock the character's seasonal weapon look through the thing. So sometimes, if you're unlucky, your character's new fucking sword and axe and that look is in like 80 in the pass, right? And I guess that's what they probably wanted to avoid, because it was kind of a dick move to do that. But it is something that if they just put all that tree stuff in the pass, there would be like no filler in the entire thing. It would be a very densely packed pass. But they decided not to do that, and I don't blame them, because I do think the filler is required. It's plus it's helpful.
It's good for new.
It's not even bad filler, right? Like it's not like the replacement fucking challenge replacements in like Halo.
Yeah, you just get one. You just get to do that once per day. But then again, it's like none of the challenges are really like annoying.
Yeah, and if you
could do expanding that system, I want more like do these warnings or something. It'll give you like 2.
Yeah,
how does you like play in this biome and this biome? What about play like a cave leech cluster or explode infestation? Play like 3 of those or something, maybe.
Yeah, and I think that would be fine with the replacement system. The fact there is a way of not doing that mission. Like if you're like fuck that noise. I'm not doing cave reach cluster exploding infestation.
Well, to be fair, if that idea means you could get like haunted caves and low oxygen, and I would just throw myself out window.
No, you would just change.
I know.
You would just or like not do the mission until you can change if you can't that day. But like it's I don't know. Yeah, it do probably a bit of something. But then again, I don't think they're paying that much attention to the that part of the daily challenges. But they probably could do with because the daily challenges could be something a lot more than they are. Like they are try out different characters, play different game modes, that kind of stuff. But they could go a bit more in depth if they wanted to, with like use the Thunderhead or like stuff like that. Like really like kind of like these might be like be mini fucking daily challenges or something, but they just make you try something that you've never before, and they give you a smaller reward. Like just experimenting with the game, and they'll just slightly reward you with it. That kind of stuff would be pretty good because I the most I've ever played, I wasn't maining Driller. I think season 2 I played everyone like equally, right? That is when the game is the most playable, when you can play and are willing to play everyone and use like all the weapons and experiment with everything, right? That is when the game is the most like interactive. And I think if the missions pushed you more towards that, but not like you need to, like it might be just like maybe it's not even daily missions, it's like an hourly mission. It's like use the Thunderhead and it's like 200 battle pass points, right? And it's like obviously you could easily not do that, but then also what's the harm, right? You try out the Thunderhead. You haven't used the Thunderhead yet, and obviously some people won't have it immediately, but let's be realistic, those people will get it pretty quick and they don't need the 200 points pass really.
Well, I guess that's probably a big reason why they wouldn't do something like that. They don't, one of the main points of the pass is that everyone's on equal footing and to be able to progress it. And even though it's not like a hard limitation, I still feel like they might be principled against putting weapons, things, something like that.
Yeah, obviously they are, since they haven't done it. But I don't know. It would maybe, I don't know. It wouldn't hurt to encourage people to try other things in the game, try other classes, which they already kind of do, but even then not hard. Like it's like they're like they don't want to say play Driller. They're like play Driller or light engineer. Like, we won't force you to play a single character. You have a choice.
Only 4 classes. It's like it's not really that restricted here.
Yeah, like it's not that big of a task to have to play Driller for a couple games. And even then you can change it if you really don't like it. But no, even then they're like, no, we'll give you the choice, which is they always do in all fairness. There's always a choice in Deep Rock. But they do feel they do not like forcing people to play certain things certain ways, which is good. But which tends to negate
they're more into encouragement than forcing people to do anything.
Yeah, and I think a very minor boost in the past, or maybe not even boost in the past, maybe just a couple credits, and it's in the station because that's where like your daily tasks are, so you just see them there. It would just it would just mess around, and then you could just have random tiny quests. Like kill 5 grabbers and you'll get like 250 credits, something like that. Just a stupid thing that resets daily with a bunch of random preset tasks, like something like that would not hurt to do. That would add a bit more replayability. So once you've even beaten the daily challenges, you might have some of the other things that you've almost done but not quite yet, so you'll play another game.
I'm just not sure if I want to get through it that quickly.
Yeah, no, I kind of ditched the whole pass thing because people are getting through the pass quick enough. But I'm thinking like credits, or maybe
because I might value XP. If I could promote.
Let's not.
No, sorry.
That's something we can and would sink into. So I'm putting a hard stop to that. I was about to sink into it just now to try and elaborate, but all right. Point is the system currently is fine. The speed of which you get scripts and like points is pretty strong. people don't like, and obviously that is not going to come to effect yet, but the fact that your progress is pretty hard locked on the tree once you complete the pass. Like once you complete the pass, if you still need like 5 or so scripts, you're gonna have to wait like a couple weeks or like a week or two before you actually be able to finish it, which is kind of annoying. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Basically, it's fine if you don't swap out any of the challenges it give you scripts.
Yeah,
but I always do because I want to get through the pass more than I want to get through the cosmetic tree, and also that means that's going to artificially inflate how long I get to play, because then I have to wait for the challenges once I get the scripts.
Well, I never skip those challenges, but I still finished the pass before the tree. And I only really had like 2 more scripts to go though. I think it was like 3 more once I finished the final mission on the pass. I was like, okay, but yeah, I don't know. There's the speed at which you get through the pass is fine for now, especially if they do they do yeah. So,
go on.
If they choose to do the holiday double XP stuff, which I don't see them doing until it's near the end of a season and there's a holiday event. I think it will be because that tends to be what games do. They'll do a double boost, like just to wrap everything up for people that near the end that want to quickly speedrun the pass. At least the nicer games do, and I would put Deep Rock on the nicer games area.
So it ranks nice.
Yeah. So I'd be surprised if there's a double XP thing for Christmas. It would definitely mean that the pass will get finished about Christmas. If like it would be, because it is people will slowly be chipping throughout the year, and if you were to boost them early on, then they're going to finish really early, right? But like you would be done by Christmas, I imagine, if they double XP you on Christmas. Like you would be done.
I don't think so.
Well, what are you at already?
25.
25. You're already a quarter of the way there. It's been a week, Harry.
Oh.
Hell, finish it before we reach Christmas, so I don't even worry about it.
I won't be no. If there isn't double XP, I won't be done before the end of the year. But I'll be close.
But if they do double XP, then you would have to not play to prevent yourself from finishing the pass. And obviously that's not going to be the case since you would play to get to play the event. So basically, they really shouldn't. They might, but I don't see why they would. But maybe like Luna's New Year, if that's
hold on.
Near the end.
I forgot to mention about the mid-season thing because we don't need to bring it back, but we didn't mention that would also be like an amazing. Broke back. It would be amazing if that was a thing. That would be a way to drop like another Rockbox enemy as well. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so cool. But I don't know. I don't think there's a really high chance that they would see the opportunity they've created for themselves, because they've got the things they would need. It almost felt like they were setting themselves up, but also by accident at the same time. But because it was all like by accident, that you've got this second event that just came along by accident, it means they're probably not going to see opportunity there for like the future. Do that. But also, it's so easy to visualize for this season now as well, because we got the things in place that would have been part of that update, and it's like,
yeah, and I feel like since obviously they're probably, I don't know, this point in time, I would say they're probably still working more on season 3 than they are on season 4. They're obviously working on season 4 and like, preparing for it, like figuring out what they're going to do. But like probably coding wise, obviously the fact that they made this new event shows that they are working more on season 3.
Yeah, and this might be it for season 3 specifically.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, but like, if next season they like this and it's past the actual addition to the game, like the season's out, but they're still like patching and like maybe adding tinkering with a couple of things. Maybe now would be a good time to do the season for halfway content. Right now would be the time where your mind is still in season. This would be season 4, like the past season, and so you can still make stuff that really feels like it, and then get that done and over and done with, and then put that on the reserve for halfway through the season. Like it would be, they would start making it now, although they probably would have, basically what they've done already with this season, like with the new event, they would just not release it now. Like what they have done now, they would wait, and the same for the part 2 assignment which they made, that kind of stuff. They basically everything they would need to add in a halfway event they already have, right? Like they definitely could. They have enough. Like
and then add another 20 tiers or something. That's like a battle pass.
It wouldn't hurt, but then again, they're gonna want all of their new cosmetics in the new pass. They're gonna be working all that on that. Yeah.
The next one. Yeah.
Because we don't want this taking away from either the current season where they don't give you content that they do have immediately, and we don't want it taking away from the next season where they don't have enough time and energy to add to the next season because they're working on the halfway point. I don't know what we can expect from a halfway thing, but basically this new mini meteorite event and the part 2 assignment that they made, and maybe an enemy, that would be more than expected and reasonable.
It'd be more than expected. I don't know if it'd be more than expected. It would be probably what is expected.
Yeah,
no more, no less.
That would revitalize people that are playing currently and bring people back mid-season, and you wouldn't even have to make it a whole big seasonal deal. So assignments which seem to be pretty easy to make. They already did make one. Some voice lines that you get mission control to do, and then making it an event or warning depending on what the main theme is.
Wouldn't it? Because you could put that in the assignment.
Yeah. But it's just that, like, I wouldn't want another warning this season, right? But if it's like a biome, then maybe a warning will do, because warnings are easy content.
Yeah, it'd be good if they could have done. I don't know if maybe it's just wasn't very difficult because it's slightly weird where they could have made it that the assignment just makes you play normal missions in infected areas. I'm surprised they didn't do that, but maybe that's just a bit of a weird thing to do, because then it has to choose like a random mission. But it doesn't. There's nothing else to it apart from it being in a certain biome. So I feel like it's a bit.
We are getting like more and more interesting assignments. Like, that's just like normal.
They are innovating in that department. Yeah. There was something that I was going to comment on where it's like this feels like something that they're not innovating on, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Maybe it was the challenges. Might be.
But especially with the assignments with the new voice lines added to them as well. Like obviously, like the actual missions of the assignment has been innovated, but now they're going to actually have a story tied to them, or like actually specific mission control voice lines attached to them, which wouldn't hurt if they went back and did some of that stuff. I don't know, maybe like if you're doing the weekly core hunt or the weekly priority assignment, somehow it is specifically those things that mission control talks about. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the weekly core hunt and assignment thing really is.
The what core hunt?
I don't know. I said it's something.
Weekly.
Yeah, like I don't know what they actually like are. Like the point of it? Maybe I can just look. It's just like, I don't know. Those are like the things that Ghost Ship would, or not Ghost Ship, but Deep Rock Galactic.
It just mentions priority tasks, just missions that are apparently more important.
Yeah, so then they make voice lines to do with that. Make it be like like if it's an egg hunt mission, make mission control like once you completed. After obviously,
those
but like
eggs were close to
hatching. Those eggs were close to hatching. Thanks for getting in there when you did. Here's a little extra something. From
that's
Deep
the thing,
Rock.
though. I think because the problem I have with these assignments, as cool as it is, it doesn't do a good job of making people pay attention to it. Still, it's a very easy thing to skip,
obviously,
especially when you get back. I skipped a lot of them. It would be better if they could, if it was like the opening statement of like the mission. Once you load into a mission, that would be then you get dialogue that was unique. But that might be a bit more complicated.
That's something new. That'll be like you being on that assignment. Like the mission knows you're doing an assignment right now. That's what that would require.
Exactly.
And that's something else. But like I do think that a weekly priority like with that weekly core hunt. I'm not sure how that would work. It would be like
I mean if they implemented a sort of another screen that was like the mission like debriefing, that's where they would have that dialogue, and it would be separate. Like you wouldn't be in the space rig for that, but it wouldn't be it wouldn't be like that restrictive. But you'd have a skip button, but it would be like. The only thing on screen would be like the dialogue and something else would be like mission debriefing, and then it'd be like
and then like for maybe like a promotion, like as you're doing the missions, he's talking about how your actions are convincing management of your promotion, stuff like that. Like you do an egg hunt.
Promotion assignments are so weird when it's like they're considering you for promotion, but you've got to prove yourself now with these dedicated missions. And then you've got to pay.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think they've crossed the thing now. Once again, they've done another thing, like they did with the egg assignment with the things where they changed up and it wasn't just random missions. They've taken a step forward, and I don't say I'm expecting them, but it would be good of them to go back and integrate that into the game. Make the assignments that are in the game, and it's the same with all the ones that you get leveling up, right? That we've probably forgotten about. Like give them specific mission control, like recaps or whatever you call those voice line bits, just so they feel more important, and also less skippable. Because as mentioned, default skips them. They're not even words. I don't hear them. Right? They're gone. The screen's gone. I'm not having any of it. But if new people are playing the game and they're doing assignments and they hear mission control talk about how well they did in that specific mission, they're like, oh hell yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're like, your way of the speed of you picking up those eggs was exemplary. Management is very impressed. Keep it up.
Thanks,
Stuff
bro.
like that during your like promotion assignment. That would be really cool. And also, if it was a terrible example and it took you ages, it would be funny because you're clearly that's not the case. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But yeah, I think that like obviously that would be a lot of effort on that poor voice actors. He is not. He is a voice actor, but obviously he's more than that, right? Like he's
I don't know.
but he would have to like, go back and do a lot of voice lines, but that's not something they're against doing. Obviously they did it recently.
A lot this season. They went back and added a lot for stuff that isn't
exactly
necessarily new.
And that's the thing as well. It was also things that you necessarily never hear. Right, like they do a lot of effort, put a lot of voice lines to things that people might never even interact with. Like obviously they've added the pinging pots of gold and mushroom, right? But likely people are gonna find that. But even though some people won't, some people will like never hear those lines. Unlikely, but also like pinging the combo buds and pinging the I don't know what's the other one. There's combo buds and there was
Gherkinshuck.
Gherkinshuck.
Forget about Gherkinshucks. It's just a basket.
Yeah, like nobody would normally ping those, right? But they decided to add voice lines to them. Like they would rather have the care to add the voice lines for the people that do do that stuff. So for the people that don't skip the assignment debrief, right? They should be rewarded with a unique voice line that like congratulates them and makes them feel good. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's something that they've now opened the gates to, and I'm now going to be an advocate for unique debriefs, voice lines. So, that's what you get for trying to innovate. Now my expectations have been raised.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. So your praise of them has led you to be more critical in the future.
I wouldn't say critical.
Of a certain aspect.
Well, because chances are I'm going to forget that I had this conversation, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, when are they going to add, the debrief voice lines? I'm just saying that I don't expect them to, but I would respect them.
Respect.
Yeah, which sounds I would respect them, and I would acknowledge that that's the Ghost Ship I know and love. If they did go back and add those voice lines, at least eventually, because that's what they did this season. They don't mind going back. They just don't do it as often as they used to or should. With all the new content they keep adding, but. Yeah, point is, that was a thing I didn't know I wanted, mainly because I didn't think about it, because they never added it until recently.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think anyone that just heard that, you've got to agree with me. That would be pretty cool. And even if not, you could skip it. So job done, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't feel that strongly about it for those generic assignments, like the weekly ones and the promotions. I feel like it's just a bit. Because you just hear the same. Those voice lines wouldn't be special. Like, it wouldn't take long for them to not be special.
I know,
but the one-off assignments. I mean, it makes less sense because you hear it less often, but it also makes more sense because unique voice lines become less unique if you hear them over and over again. So it makes the most sense for the one-off assignments, which is really weird.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's like saying they shouldn't bother with the Skyrim quest lines because people would do them over and over again in different saves, right? They should still be special for the first and second and third time, but they're not special at all at any time right now.
Well, I guess you do get debriefs, but okay, maybe, sure. I
don't know. I don't think it's above what they could do.
List, but sure, why not?
No, it's another one of those things that I'll be like, hell yeah, that's the Ghost Ship I know and love. It'll be like, yeah, cool, yeah. They stepped it up, and they went back and they updated all the stuff where they didn't step it up with. So there isn't such a divide.
Hold on. I need to pause the recording. All right,
so
Tyler,
what do you think of the new cosmetics? Anyway. All right, we're wrapping this up. We'll probably do that cosmetic talk some other time, and it'll probably, honestly, we probably should do a whole thing on like all cosmetics, like what we think is the best and worst cosmetics in the game. So we'll probably just group it into something like that.
I feel like everything we've done on cosmetics so far has just turned into rants, probably.
Yeah, and I don't know, they're fine. From what I've seen, obviously we haven't got all of them as well, so we'll wait until we get most of them.
I have different criticisms of like the composition and the implementation, but in terms of like an individual basis, each cosmetic I think are actually pretty good, consistently good this season. But
better than the last ones.
We do need to wrap this up. I think that was beautiful.
That was a good one. Yeah, I found a new thing to get riled up about why it's not in the game, so that's always good.
That's good. That's important. That's important.
That's what I need. I need more and more fuel to hate the game that I love the most in the world, and hate the developers that are by far the best. That's what we need. That's what I need in my life. I want to hate what I love most. But that has been the Barrel Vision podcast. We have been
episode 30.
Episode 30. Doesn't time fly when we do it once per week?
Weeks. Well, actually, no, more than that.
No, we missed a couple. Quite a few actually, more than any other series.
I'm terrified.
Saying that. Oh,
what is it? The inevitable marching of time cannot be halted.
Haha! I have the indomitable will of the human spirit. Haha!
All right. Goodbye, you mischievous sprites.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this, please make sure to rock and stone, and by rock and stone I mean
like and subscribe. Although I assume at this point, if you watch this far, you probably already are. And if not, then seriously do.
Yeah, what you playing at?
Yeah. Goodbye. See you next Saturday, probably. Actually, you'll probably stream tomorrow.
Next Saturday.
Yeah. Well, it's also, if you're rewatching this at any other point in time, you'll see us whenever you click on our next video. So, you can see us at any point in time. That's the interesting thing about YouTube.
Listen to this over and over again, 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 over. Bye.